What is up, party people? Today we're gonna get into another video about a brand new whole lineup of Samsung phones that isn't either the S series or the Note series. So the question is, why do we care at all? And the answer to that is, well, just look at this flippy flip camera. How can you not love it? Diving right into this brand new Samsung A series lineup, which was just introduced a couple days ago, there's kind of three whole tiers to this lineup. First, you have this basic budget phones. Yeah, that's the A10, the A20, and then the A30. The next, you go on to the mid-range, which Samsung skips the A40 and the A60, and they go on to the A50 and the A70, and then you go on to this flagship premium range for this A series, and that kind of costs around $700, similar to the Samsung S10e Essentials or Economy, or whatever that E stands for, and that's going to be that flagship phone, and that's the A80, and the A80 is the one that everyone is talking about, and rightfully so. I mean, it's got two pretty cool features. One is that flippy camera, and the second one is that live video focus mode. So let's first get into that live video focus because it's a little bit more simpler to explain. So this phone has a 3D true depth camera system similar to Face ID, but it's using it to blur the background in video. So it's similar to how the iPhone 7 Plus had the portrait mode, and now everyone is going crazy about this portrait mode. So it just just locks onto your face and just kind of separates your face through the rest of the background through some artificial bokeh or bokeh, how some photographers like to say it. And does it look bad? The answer is yes. It looks similar to how the early portrait mode looked on the iPhone 7 Plus. The bokeh just looked fake, the edge detection just looked a little wacky, and that's what it looks like on the A80. But at least it's the step in the right direction, because that's the only thing that's really separating smartphone cameras and these big huge DSLRs. It's kind of the low light camera and quality and that blurred background. I mean, right now I have a little bit of a blurred background in the back. It's not that much because my camera isn't one of those like $3,000 one. It's around like $700, but still, that's a step in the right direction, and I'll love to see this develop over time, because if my phone could produce a nice, good fake video blur, I will use that all day, every day. And then talking about the other feature, which I think is really cool. I mean, it's not really cool, but I would love to see this on every single phone. The top of the phone has this slider because the screen is edge to edge. There is no front-facing camera in the display like the punch hole design in the Samsung S10. It's a 6.7-inch edge-to-edge display with a little small chin. So where do you put the front-facing camera? Well, the front-facing camera is also the rear-facing camera, and there's also an ultra-wide in there that also is the front and back-facing camera. And how does that happen? Well, there's a slider mechanism plus a rotating camera. So if you want to use the camera in the front, the phone slides out the camera, and then the camera flips to go in your direction. And if you want to do rear-facing, the camera flips again and then goes in the opposite direction. So your rear cameras are your front cameras, and that's amazing because your rear cameras are always better than your front-facing cameras. And just to sum up all those facts right there, so this phone has three cameras, or just sensors. One is an ultra-wide, one is a regular main camera, and one is a 3D depth sensor. That 3D depth sensor allows for portrait mode, of course, in photos, and also allows a portrait mode-like effect in video, and allows for that artificial blur. And also, all those three cameras could go back-facing or rear-facing, and then front-facing, depending on this little swivel gear system, which is actually pretty cool. But this phone, this Samsung A80, does have its downsides because it does have to be cheaper than the S10, and it kind of has to be a little less appealing. So it doesn't have the Snapdragon 855, it has the Snapdragon 730, a little bit more of a mid-range Snapdragon processor SoC, but still, it's got that cool flippy camera. And also, there's no wireless charging, there's no glass back, so there's no power share, so you can't charge your Galaxy Buds on the back of this thing or get another charge with someone else's S10. And there's also no headphone jack, which I'm gonna clap Samsung for that. So there's a little downsides, and also we don't know the price yet. I mean, it's gonna be around 650, 600, 700, maybe 750 with that new technology of the flippy camera. And all this is going to be released on May 29th. So that right there is a Samsung A80, a pretty cool phone with an edge-to-edge 6.7 inch display with just a super small chin, a almost bezel-less phone. It looks beautiful and it doesn't have those curved edges, which I actually prefer. I like my flat image not to distort my videos. Like, oh, this curved edge is just, it kind of just warps the video, which doesn't look that nice. So now we are gonna shift our attention, or flip our attention, to the mid-range lineup of the A series, and that's the A50 and the A70. The A50 already launched on March 2nd, while the A70 is going to launch on April 26th. And the A50 is the cheaper version of the A70. It only has a 6.2 inch display instead of the 6.7 that's found on the A70. These both, of course, do not have wireless charging. The A50 has a 4,000 milliamp battery, while the A70 has a 4,500 milliamp battery and support for 25 watt fast charging. Fun fact, both of these phones have a headphone jack, so it's going to be like around $400 for each of these. And it has a headphone jack, while the phone for $700 doesn't have a headphone jack. That is some very interesting logic there, Samsung. Very interesting. Both of these phones don't have that cool slider that's on the A80. Instead, it has that Infinity O design. So it has that boring old front-facing camera on the top with that similar water drop notch. And it has a triple camera setup on the back with that ultra wide, the regular, and the 3D depth sensing sensor. And also it has the in-display fingerprint sensor. And I didn't say that the A80 does, but it also has the in-display fingerprint scanner. And going to the low-end budget lineup, and this is really where you're gonna see everything just chopped off all the corners. The processor is the cheapest you could get. It does not even have a fingerprint scanner on the A10, because that phone's gonna go for like $150. And overall, these phones have big beefy batteries, a decent edge-to-edge screen, but that's really it. They don't even have a dual camera on the A10. You do have a dual camera on the A20, A30, but these phones for the budget are really just trying to hit those major essentials. Just a good screen, good battery life, and a decent camera. That's what these phones are going to get you for $300. But other than that, you can't complain. Although the Samsung A80 is the headliner of the series, that's not the one that's going to sell the most. Of course, you're going to find the A10, A20, and the A30 selling the most. And the question is, to just wrap it up again, why do we care? We really shouldn't really care about these Samsung phones. Our attention should be on those flagships, which have those innovative features, but unsurprisingly so, the Samsung A80 costing $750 around there does have a couple innovative features that you're not going to find on the S10 Plus, S10, or S10e, it has that video bokeh mode, which is pretty cool, and that flippy flip camera. Who doesn't love that? But that is all we have for today. Thank you for watching this video. I will see you tomorrow for the latest and greatest, and we'll talk about something that's a little bit more interesting for you. 3, 2, 1. Can you guys hold off this video for a second? I'm trying to watch the NBA playoffs. Yeah, baby, it started. It's gonna be the Warriors in 3, obviously.